What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music. So excited to have another episode of Guitar Tours going on here. We are in Nashville, Tennessee, and we've got the wonderful Buddy Miller. Thank you, buddy.
Hey.
Really appreciate you coming.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, thank you so much, man. So we were jamming some really cool guitars here.
Eventually.
And they look a little familiar to me.
Yeah, oh, you were at Maple Burns' house.
That's right.
Well, Maple did not have one until he saw mine. So at least I have that one thing on Maple. His guitar collection is insane, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
He's as he is. I love Maple.
And what are these called again?
Well, you know, for the first 20 years I had them, I thought they were called Noble.
Okay.
Because they have this insignia at the top there that came from the Noble Accordion Company in Chicago, who imported them.
Okay.
This was a more conservative.
They're Italian, right?
They're Italian. They're much like a fine jazz guitar with a carved arch top. This is like the opposite of. And it's the opposite of a fine guitar in many ways. It has a concave top.
Right.
It has storage compartments for your traveling. You can keep your whatever's in there.
Who knows what?
Who knows what you're going to need. An aluminum neck that runs the length of the body. You can see up there. I was playing in Boulder or Denver. I think it was in Boulder. And there was like a pawn shop that used to be a music store there called Wedgel's.
Okay.
And I walked by it. I was there for 3 or 4 days. And this was the one that was hanging in the window. It was unsold, unplayed, as new, but it had been, you know, this is from, I'm guessing it's late 60s, early 70s. Maple knows much more about them than me. I just kind of can find notes on them sometimes. It was in the window. It had a tag hanging on it that said $85. So I walked by it. The third day in a row I walked by it, I walked in. I said, hey, would you take $50 for it? Because that was a lot of money to me at the time. He said, no problem. He was glad to get $50 for the thing. It had hung there. It was in perfect condition. This crack here I put in it the first or second day I got it when we headed back to Austin from Colorado. I just didn't have a case. I brought it to the gig that night, though, and it actually sounded magical. You know, it's 3 pickups. They're Italian pickups made by Divoli, that was another company there, I guess. The placement of them makes them sort of Strat-like, physically out of phase a little bit when you combine them. First of all, just this pickup here has a great country. But when you combine these two, you get a Stratish, you know, that kind of thing. And then this pickup was wired out of phase. So when you combine them, and there's all kinds of strange combinations. I don't think I've changed or cleaned the pots since then, so they're a little noisy, but you know, hasn't caused me to lose any gigs. So they're pretty versatile, and they're really all I can play. That one came, I moved from Austin to New York, and I liked it so much, and I realized they had a few of them in the store in Wedgel's. I called them up and said, do you still have any of those guitars? They said, yeah, man, we got them all. Well, I'd like to buy them. You sold me that one for $50. He said, yeah, if you send us $250, you can have the other 5. One of them, he changed his mind. He said, you know what, that one's up high, and it's not worth $50 to get down. Maple has that guitar.
Okay.
But I got this one, that one in red, like this, and then a solid body with 4 pickups that's in the Country Music Hall of Fame right now.
Nice.
They sound really good. I don't get it.
So I just wanted to go back and talk about your career a little bit. So Emmylou Harris, that's where the Maple connection comes in, because he works for Emmylou. You've played with her for a very
She
long
hasn't
time,
taken my
right?
license away yet, so I'm counting it as over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
I started playing with her when it was during the Wrecking Ball tour. Daniel and Wah made that record and did a few tours with her, and her first record flipped me out and turned me around and was just what I thought music should be. But I grew up playing not just country and folk and traditional, because I grew up, I'm a little bit older than you, back when radio was a very cool thing, and AM
Yeah.
radio was playing everything. I went to Woodstock as a kid. I saw Hendrix at Woodstock. A friend of mine was the sound man at the Fillmore East, and I'd go hear, whatever I'd want to there.
Yeah.
In, the front rows. I saw Led Zeppelin's first tour, and then years later, got to meet Robert and worked with him for years.
As in Robert Plant.
Yeah, the Robert Plant, yeah.
That Robert, they're friends, so you just go
He came
first
to an
name.
Emmylou Harris gig, and I guess I didn't suck that night. And he kept my number, and then after they put the band together for the Alison Krauss thing, I got involved in that, playing guitar, and then I produced with him his next record after that.
All right, so what do we got here? This looks like a baritone guitar?
Yeah, it's I think it's early Jerry Jones. I got it in the 80s when I was living in LA, because I just love the baritone just for, it does its own thing. I don't know why, but I started playing with Emmylou, and we would do a lot of duo gigs, just the two of us. I could cover the low end and play a little bit of sparkly stuff with this. With them playing acoustic guitar, because I love low end.
Yeah.
It can be really pretty.
That sounds awesome.
So yeah, I'm all for a baritone. And plus, you can rock on it. It has a cool growl to it.
Yeah. How'd you first hear about a baritone guitar? Because you said this was from the 80s that you got it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did someone turn you on to it, or?
Nobody turned me on to it. I would be tuning down a guitar to D. I'd always have one tuned down to D, and then I think I heard it. I must have heard it on a record.
Yeah.
Country records always have that kind of stuff in them.
Does it ever get in the way of the bass frequencies, like on a record, or?
If you have a bass player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I'll show you something that's just as cool. Talk about taking up space on a track. Can I show you something?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Whoa!
Talk about taking up space on a record. I haven't played it in a little while, and it's much longer scale than the baritone, which is very easy to play like a guitar. Maple is the only other one I've ever seen that has one. I borrowed his.
How am I not surprised?
If there's another one around and it's rare, Maple's going to have it, whatever it is.
It's a Hofner.
It's a Hofner, and it's hollow body completely. Maple's is sunburst, mine's not. We recorded some stuff with Marco Giovino, if you know who he is, great drummer. Just this guitar and drums without a bass. You can say so much with so little. Just let that ring underneath the groove, and you got, the song makes itself.
Nice.
And it was really special. It's something. The 6-string bass are hard for me.
Okay.
Because they're so low, and the fenders are like the strings are so close together.
Right.
On their bass 6, but this thing is just music comes out of it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That sounds cool. Can you play a little more? Just play away.
No, that's about all I can do on it.
All right,
no,
cut.
I'm just. It's just.
Yeah.
You set a groove up and this just covers it all. You can do a little guitar. A little bit goes a long way.
All right, so we've got a couple more that we're checking out. This looks really interesting.
It's tuned right now.
4 strings doubled.
A mandocello, or I guess this is tuned probably more like an octave mandolin. And I guess I don't have it in the traditional tuning. Track, it's pretty magical. It's thicker than a high string, but not as thick as a guitar. It just takes up a whole different space that a traditional guitar would, or it's not as heavy as a 12-string, or it doesn't make you think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
No, that's what I was
walk
gonna
right
say.
in
A 12-string acoustic guitar is like real taking up a lot
takes
of
up space,
sound.
and it suddenly bags the song as, you know, walk right in, sit right in that.
Yeah.
Like a big old folk from the 60s thing. When this is can do other things. And this cat, Scott Baxendall in Athens, Georgia, he finds old Ks, he takes the tops off of them and rebraces them and gets them to sound beautiful because they didn't sound good. This is, just to show you, this is another Scott Baxendall. I think this is late 40s. And again, he took the top off and completely rebraces it, and it's one of the better sounding, one of the bigger sounding guitars that I've got. I've got an early, 50s J200, and sometimes I'll opt for this one. He does a very cool thing.
Wow.
It's worth looking up. Scott Baxendall.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's nice to have something old
For sure.
and have somebody else's initials or name in it. What does it say? Joan? Joan. Joan.
That is
To Joan. I never noticed that before. Look at that.
This is the first time you've noticed that?
I noticed that, yeah. I
Wow.
noticed it says to Joan. Well, if I can find Joan, she can have it back.
Yeah, just play it a little more if you don't mind. If you don't mind having a strum.
No. It's got such a deepness to it, at least from up here. It's cool. Yeah, and he just gets these old guitars that are falling apart and makes them live again.
Do you ever spend too much time trying to decide what guitar to play on a track?
No.
You just grab one?
Or
do you hear it in your head, like, and you know which one
When I'm
you
working
want?
on a record,
Yeah.
I can hear it in my head. I mean, I'm kind of stuck with my electric guitars. I've got a lot of guitars.
Yeah.
But those Wandres, I kind of know how to work them.
Right.
I know what they've got in them. But I don't agonize over instruments or microphones or mic pre's. I used to, until I realized it's not making a whole heck of a lot of difference.
So
it's
like,
what's in here and what's in here.
The intent.
Yeah, and whatever it's easier to get it out on. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes, a song will call for a Gretsch.
Right.
Or a Telly. I wish I was, better with Gibsons. I can't get too much music out of a Gibson. My own fault. They're unbelievable instruments. I've got a few that I can, but sometimes the song dictates what it is. But
Sure.
But no, I don't agonize over that stuff.
All right, so what do we got here? This
This.
thing is super cool looking.
Yeah, Vox, I guess in the 60s, made what they call the Mando guitar. Basically, a 12-string guitar capoed up at the 12th fret.
Ah.
My wife always wanted one. We'd be working on songs. She said, 12-string guitar is just too thick. It's acoustic. I want it to be electric, but way, way, way up, chimey and high. And I went to a guitar show, and there was a Vox sitting there, and I didn't have my checkbook. I now know, do not go to a guitar show without a checkbook. And I went back, went over to it, and Steve Earle was actually standing in front of it and said, hey, man, look what I found. And so I lost out on that one, but I got the consolation prize of Vintage Guitar Magazine, because you get it for free there.
Sure.
Took it home, and there was a company, Phantom, had just started making them. And I ordered one and got it, and it's been a big part of everything I do. It's just another color. I could just put a beautiful little sound over it. And it works well with pedals.
Wow. Yeah, because you got a little,
It can
little
distort
touch of vibrato
really good.
going on? Or?
Oh yeah, no, it's more than a touch.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
polite. Yeah. I don't think I've turned my vibrato off in 30 years. But it's pretty, isn't it?
Oh, so pretty.
And so it can add some shimmer at the top. Baritone can add some growl at the bottom. What more do you need?
And so do you call it a Mando guitar?
Mando guitar, yeah.
Oh, this is another beautiful guitar. We got a Gretsch going here, yeah?
I got I like Gretches. Not sure why. I had one when I was younger and the neck fell off of it. And I guess that's not uncommon for old Gretsches. But I've got this one, the same year as Dwayne Eddy's 6120 with the de-armored pickups on it.
So wait, so what kind of Gretsch is
This
it?
is a country gentleman.
Country
This
gentleman,
is like
all
the
right.
George Harrison, Ed Sullivan show.
It seems like you're really more into these funky babies.
Yeah,
You know how to use them.
I know where stuff is on them.
Yeah, this one you don't use as much on recordings, or?
No, you know what? I do have a lot of guitars, and I do use them all.
Yeah.
These Gretsches I find are more for a part.
Okay.
That's what I use other guitars for. Telly, Gretsch,
Yeah.
Jazzmaster, Jaguar. I could hear the part being played on.
Yeah. You ever B-bend? You ever?
Ma'am, I don't even know where my B-bender guitar is. I do have one, but I don't know. I've been looking for it.
Joe Glazer wants to put one on my Telecaster, and I'm going to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Joe's B-benders are great.
Yeah. I want to make sure that people know that Buddy Miller has his own radio show on Sirius Radio, and I have heard it before, and I really love it. And because you're in Nashville, you get to hang out with all these amazing people. And
yeah, we do
talk.
it right here. Me and my friend Jim Lauderdale. It's called the Buddy and Jim Show. It's episodic. It's on, I think, 5 or 6 times during the week. I have no idea when.
Do you know the station number?
Outlaw Country is.
Outlaw-
I think it's 60. I don't know.
But Outlaw Country.
Outlaw Country, Sirius XM.
I like that station, actually, the Outlaw
It's all
Country
right.
station. Yeah.
But we can do whatever we want. We don't play just country. I pick all the songs, and
Awesome.
it can be as bad as I want it to be.
Do you have any other things that, while we're here, that you'd like people to check out?
Just finished making a record with this amazing singer-songwriter girl named Ariana Gillis from Canada. Her dad's a guitar player too. He came down.
You also are part of a really cool cruise. It's all about the music.
It is the Cayamo Cruise.
Cayamo Cruise with a C.
C-A-Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
And you even talked about like Tommy Emmanuel.
This year, Tommy
He's gonna be
Emmanuel
on
and
it.
Jerry Douglas.
Jerry Douglas.
And it's not a bluegrass cruise. It's an everything go. The Indigo Girls are on it this year.
Music
Richard Thompson's been on
Appreciation
it.
Cruise.
Yeah, Emmy Lou's on it this year. There's probably about 40 to 50 acts, 6 or 7 venues.
Do
It's a good time.
the guests or fans bring instruments too and have like picking
Yeah, they
and
do.
stuff?
They actually do. They sit around and play, and sometimes the artists join in with them too. and it's-
Yeah. Buddy Miller, you guys.
Yeah. This has been fun, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Can we leave them with a little maybe like a little swingy blues jam? You can noodle over it?
Sure.
Would you let me
It'll be a letdown after everything else.
I'll play a little bed for you, man. You do
All
your
right.
things.